major thing that I did in shifting my consciousness, because I was stuck in that circular replay, and I address in my books and in the book Creating Deliberate Happiness that mental replay of events, and our tendency when we feel overwhelmed, we keep replaying those questions. Why me? Why did this happen to me? And I don't deserve this. I'm a good person. And then sometimes we wonder underneath if we're just really not good enough and if we're not in that place of integrity with ourselves. But we cannot understand why, in looking at life, it feels that injustices, unfairness, and tragedies come, and we are in that dilemma. In the end, I think the most vital question is that I turn the why me to this thought: what can I do with what has happened to me? From why me to, okay, this has happened. I don't know the why, but what can I do with that which has happened to me? And what that did, it took my consciousness from that circular replay, and I address like everything from the worry habit to ideas of how we replay ideas in a circular fashion, and that is certainly in the book Creating Deliberate Happiness. And how do we move that from the replay, which is perseverating on that, but it is not creating solutions. It is really, it's creating more misery. We feel less empowered. It doesn't allow us movement. But with the idea, what can I do with that which has happened to me? With that concept, and it took time to get to it, a series of stages, but finally there was that transformation to that idea. Out of that experience also the importance of now. You know, no matter how many times we replay the past, we do not have the power to change 1 second, not 1 day, not 1 minute of that past. But what are we going to do with what we have done with the journey? What knowledge, what understanding can we take forward? And in that place of forward movement, how do we go beyond that replay again to another level of focus that goes beyond oneself? And again, that's where we look at how can we participate with others? How can we participate more in our humanity? How do we participate from what we have been through in extending our hand to another human being? And how do we look at creating more meaningfulness in our life, in the lives of others, and go beyond our attention just to the physical material realm? And how do we really see ourselves in terms of the universe? We need to attend to shifts in our consciousness. You know, how do we change the world? How do we change evil in the world? We begin by attending to our own consciousness. How do we shift our own consciousness more to the light, more to love? How do our actions reflect that light? How do they reflect that loving? We can talk about changing the world, but we have difficulty changing one bad habit that we participate in. So part of the books address just that very subject of how do we make shifts in our consciousness. All transformation involves shifts in consciousness. And all of us have had things that made us feel inspired, that made us feel hopeful, that made us feel excited about the future. But if we look in on the life, whether it's a few days later, a few weeks, or a few months later, basically the same patterns in thinking remain. The same patterns in action remain. And this goes to addressing what I feel is different about some of the books that I have presently out.